Well, it's a big tube. I mean, you think basically it's mainly under France and partly under Switzerland, and it accelerates protons around in a circle. Both ways. One beam goes one way, one goes the other way. And they go around 11,000 times a second. So that's very close to the speed of light. 99.999999% the speed of light. Wow. And then we cross the beams and collide the particles. And in those collisions, you're recreating the conditions that were present less than a billionth of a second after the Big Bang.
Have you ever felt like something in our world doesn't add up? Like reality has quietly shifted? What if that strange feeling isn't your imagination, but the result of a powerful scientific experiment gone too far?
There is a tunnel, and machinery inside that tunnel sends beams of energy in a vast circle.
The particle accelerator altered the weight of one electron and therefore destroyed our universe and shifted us into the universe that's directly next to it, and therefore things are different in this universe.
What if the world's largest research lab has done something no one was prepared for? CERN just opened a portal to another dimension. Then this happens. A brilliant young boy named Laughlin believes that CERN's experiments with the Large Hadron Collider may have accidentally opened a portal to another dimension, shifting humanity into a parallel universe.
The Large Hadron Collider will be able to detect new particles and start a physics revolution.
He connects this idea to the Mandela effect, suggesting that real changes support his theory. While mainstream science uses the collider to study particle physics and mysteries like dark matter, discoveries such as the Higgs boson and newly found X particles continue to raise questions. Though many of Max's claims remain unproven, his ideas have sparked global curiosity about the true nature of reality and what lies beyond. Imagine a place where the lines between science fiction and reality blur. That happened when a young boy, known for his incredible intelligence, made a bold claim. He said that something extraordinary had happened at CERN, a famous research center where scientists study the deepest secrets of the universe. He said a doorway to another world may have just been opened. This shocking discovery didn't come from a senior scientist or professor. It came from a child called one of the smartest kids on Earth. Some even compare him to Einstein. His ideas challenge what people think they know about how the universe works. So, the question now is, can such a young mind really be trusted with something this serious? Could this discovery really change life as everyone knows it? With so much at stake, it's worth taking a closer look at what he's saying and what it could mean for the future of science. Over time, many young people have come up with ideas far beyond their age, but very few have caused as much excitement and concern as Laughlin. He's often described as a child genius. People worldwide are paying attention to his ideas, especially those about a massive scientific machine called the Large Hadron Collider. Max first gained attention by sharing fascinating thoughts about how the universe works and how people adjust to changes around them. But now, his ideas have gone even further. They are not just interesting facts, they come with a sense of warning. He believes something serious has happened, and it might have started with experiments at CERN. To support his claims, Max has shared several videos online. In those videos, he calmly explains his point of view, using examples and logic that are easy to follow. His way of speaking has left many scientists both curious and surprised. A.S. Albert Einstein once said, "Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world." And there's more to him than just ideas. Max is also an inventor. Believe it or not, when he was only 13 years old, he built a working model of a free energy machine, which is a device that could, in theory, power things without using any fuel. This brilliant young boy has put forward an idea that's not only surprising, but truly mind-blowing. He believes there's a strange connection between the mysterious experiments happening at CERN and what many people know as the Mandela effect. According to him, this link might explain something much bigger, such as the possibility of another dimension. Yes, a different layer of reality that could completely change how people think about the world around them. But before diving into his theory, it helps to understand what another dimension actually means. In simple terms, a dimension is just a way to describe directions in space. Everyone knows the basic three: length, width, and height. Time is often considered the fourth dimension, which helps explain how things move and change. However, some scientists believe even more dimensions could be hidden beyond what people can normally see or feel. These extra dimensions aren't fantasy stuff. They're part of real scientific ideas. Researchers suggest that more dimensions might exist in fields like string theory and quantum physics. However, these hidden dimensions could be curled up so tightly or be so tiny that regular tools can't detect them. Imagine them as invisible pathways or folded-up areas of space that exist all around, but are simply too small to notice. Some theories go even further. They suggest that the basic forces of nature, like gravity, magnetism, and light, might behave differently in these extra dimensions. If true, it could mean that entire worlds or realities exist outside human perception, and people simply don't know it. Still, not all scientists agree on this. The idea of extra dimensions remains a theory that sounds possible based on math and physics, but hasn't been proven yet. Researchers are still exploring whether these hidden spaces are real and how they might affect the universe. Now, when someone talks about reaching or stepping into another dimension, it usually means finding a way to interact with one of these unseen layers of space. And this is where the story gets even more intriguing. Now, here's something important to keep in mind. With everything modern science knows so far, there's still no proven way to actually travel into another dimension. Even though these ideas sound exciting, physics today doesn't offer a clear path or method to make that kind of journey possible. One of the main reasons is that if these extra dimensions really do exist, they might be incredibly tiny, much smaller than anything people can see or touch. Some experts believe these hidden dimensions are curled up so tightly or exist at high energy levels that our current technology isn't advanced enough to detect or explore them. That's why, although many scientific theories discuss extra dimensions, they remain mostly out of reach. Even so, traveling between dimensions has become popular in science fiction stories and movies. Writers and filmmakers often imagine creative ways to make it happen. Sometimes they talk about magical-sounding things like wormholes or powerful machines that open portals to other worlds. These stories may not be backed by real science. Still, they spark imagination and keep people wondering if it is possible. Interestingly, the young boy believes it already is. According to Laughlin, one of the brightest kids in the world, these science fiction ideas aren't just dreams. They're actually happening, and most people simply haven't realized it yet. What makes Max truly fascinating is not just his intelligence. Still, the way he explains complex scientific ideas is so that even beginners can understand. Despite being only 13 years old, he has an incredible gift for breaking down big, complicated thoughts into small, clear pieces. That's part of why so many people are paying close attention to his words. CERN just opened a portal to another dimension. Then this happens. This idea might sound unbelievable, but according to Laughlin, it's not the first time something like this has happened. In fact, scientists at CERN, the European research center that runs the world's largest particle physics lab, have already done similar experiments. That's what makes Max's claim even more interesting. At the center of these experiments is a massive machine called the Large Hadron Collider. This powerful device is designed to break apart the tiniest bits of matter, known as subatomic particles. By doing this, scientists hope to understand how the universe began. One of its main purposes is to recreate conditions similar to the Big Bang, which many believe started everything in the universe. But Max believes that something far more unexpected might have occurred during these experiments. He says that the collision of these particles didn't just create that, it may have caused a break in the fabric of the universe itself. According to him, that break could have pushed all of humanity into a completely different version of reality. This is where things get even more mind-bending. Max suggests that our universe is just one of countless others. He describes the idea of a multiverse, a place where infinite versions of reality exist, side by side. In each one, things may be slightly different or completely changed. He believes that when the experiment at CERN caused an anomaly, it threw us out of our original timeline and into one of these many alternate realities. To explain it clearly, he said that after the anomaly occurred during one of the tests, we were suddenly launched not just once, but repeatedly into endless parallel universes. And this process, he claims, is still happening. While people continue their daily lives unaware, their reality may be constantly shifting. Max believes that CERN scientists might have noticed something unusual too. If they detected a strange shift in space or time, it's possible they tried to fix or adjust certain events. That would mean they were actively changing parts of reality, and what people experience today might not be the true original version of their world. This theory also supports other claims that CERN has been experimenting with portal ways to connect one universe to another. Max even ties this idea to the well-known Mandela effect, where large groups of people remember things differently from how they supposedly happened. He believes this could prove that people have already crossed over into an alternate version of reality without knowing it. One example he gives involves how a single particle, like an electron, might have shifted during the experiment. That tiny change, he says, could have been enough to break reality and place everyone into a new version of the universe. In Max's view, the Large Hadron Collider is more than just a science tool. It's the device that allowed this shift between universes to occur. CERN built this powerful machine inside a circular tunnel that's about 17 miles long, buried deep underground between France and Switzerland. It lies between 165 to almost 600 feet below the surface, and was built to collide beams of particles traveling at nearly the speed of light. Once these particles crash into each other, scientists study the explosion's aftermath, including atoms, molecules, and other results that help them understand how the universe works. Interestingly, long before Max Laughlin made these claims, some people had already warned about the risks of the Large Hadron Collider. Even during the time of former U.S. President Bill Clinton, there were concerns that the machine might do something dangerous. Some even feared it could create a powerful black hole to destroy the planet. When the Large Hadron Collider was still being planned, many scientists and thinkers shared deep concerns about what it could do. Some believed that this powerful machine might accidentally create a black hole strong enough to swallow the entire Earth. These warnings were not taken lightly. One well-known scientist who spoke up about this was Francesco Calogero. He was a nuclear physicist at the University of Rome and also a co-winner of the Nobel Peace Prize in the year 1995. In the year 2000, he wrote a thought-provoking article with a powerful question in its title: Might a laboratory experiment destroy planet Earth? This article started a wave of public debate that continued for many years. People around the world began to wonder if this giant scientific machine could actually end life as we know it. The idea sparked curiosity, fear, and endless discussions. The topic even made its way into popular television. In the year 2009, the article was featured in an episode of The Daily Show with John Oliver. On that episode, John spoke with a physics professor who made a shocking statement. The professor said that there was a 50% chance, in other words, a 1 in 2 possibility, that the experiment could result in a black hole powerful enough to destroy Earth. To find the truth behind such a bold claim, John Oliver also spoke with actual scientists working on the Large Hadron Collider project at CERN. These experts responded clearly. They explained that the machine was never meant to be a tool for destruction. Instead, it was carefully built for deep scientific research to help people understand how the universe works at its most basic level. While these discussions were happening, Max Laughlin added another layer to the conversation. When asked about the Mandela effect, Max shared his belief that it is very real. The Mandela effect is when many people clearly remember something that never happened. At least, not in this version of reality. For example, many people once believed that Nelson Mandela died in prison during the 1980s. In truth, he passed away in the year 2013. Still, those people remember news reports, television coverage, and even speeches that never actually existed. This strange effect adds more weight to Max's theory. He believes it supports the idea that people may have already shifted into a different version of reality, possibly due to experiments done at CERN. To many, this young boy's theory no longer sounds like science fiction, but something that might explain the odd things people notice in their everyday lives. Fiona Broom introduced the term Mandela effect in the year 2009. She came up with the name after noticing something strange about her own memories. To share her experience, she created a website to explain what she remembered and invited others to do the same. It all started when Fiona was attending a conference. While speaking with a few other people, she mentioned that she clearly remembered Nelson Mandela, the former president of South Africa, passing away in prison during the 1980s. But there was a problem. That memory did not match the facts. Nelson Mandela actually passed away in the year 2013, years after being released from prison and even serving as president. What surprised Fiona even more was that she was not the only one with this memory. Several other people also remembered watching news reports about his death. Some even claimed they saw television broadcasts and a speech from his widow. These memories were detailed and felt completely real to them, even though they did not match reality. This unusual situation is what became known as the Mandela effect. It describes the experience of large groups of people remembering events differently from how they actually happened. This strange phenomenon has made many wonder if something bigger might happen behind the scenes. Max Laughlin believes it is. This effect could signify that people have shifted into an alternate universe. According to his idea, events like the experiments at CERN may have caused changes in reality, and the Mandela effect is one of the clues left behind. Meanwhile, the Large Hadron Collider plays a major role in the search for answers about the universe. Scientists use it to test important predictions in particle physics, especially those that are part of the Standard Model theory. This model helps explain how the smallest parts of the universe behave. Even though the Standard Model covers a lot, it still cannot explain everything. Scientists have yet to solve many mysteries, one of the biggest of which is dark matter. Since the Large Hadron Collider was completed in the year 2008, it has been run successfully 2 times. The first run happened between the years 2010 and 2013. The second run lasted from 2015 to 2018. Both runs led to important discoveries, set new records, and helped scientists learn more about the universe. Still, dark matter remains a puzzle. Most of the matter in space cannot be seen directly. It does not give off light, but its presence is felt because of the way it affects gravity. Scientists believe that dark matter is the invisible glue that helps hold galaxies and galaxy clusters together. Even with all the research, no one truly knows what dark matter is. This mystery continues to challenge scientists and keep them searching for answers about the universe far beyond what the eyes can see. One of the main reasons scientists built the Large Hadron Collider was to search for answers about the universe that no one could explain. In particular, they hoped to learn more about something mysterious called dark matter. When the collider was first switched on in the year 2010, many physicists were full of hope. They believed this giant machine could help uncover hidden parts of the universe. While it did lead to one major discovery, the famous Higgs boson, there were no other major surprises. Many expected that at least one new particle would appear to help explain dark matter, but nothing else was found. After completing its second run in the year 2018, the machine was shut down for maintenance and improvements. It stayed offline for nearly 3 years, while workers repaired and upgraded its systems. Then, on April 22nd in the year 2022, it was powered up once again. Just a few months later, the third run officially began on July 5th. This date also marked 10 years since the discovery of the Higgs boson. Shortly after the third run began, something very interesting happened. In January of this year, scientists at CERN announced that they had discovered a new particle. These new particles were named X particles, a fitting name given how little is known about them. The X particles were first found inside a substance called quark-gluon plasma. This plasma is made of extremely small building blocks of matter and is thought to be one of the earliest forms of matter in the universe. It existed only a few millionths of a second after the Big Bang, when the universe was unimaginably hot and dense. During that early time, the universe was filled with quarks and gluons. These are the tiniest pieces of matter, and they usually come together to form protons and neutrons, which make up atoms. But sometimes, before they could cool down and settle into stable forms, a tiny number would quickly combine to form an X particle. These X particles lasted briefly before disappearing, which is why they have been so hard to study. Scientists puzzle over how these quarks and gluons come together to form X particles. So far, no one fully understands this process. If scientists can figure out how these particles are formed, they may also gain better insight into what kinds of particles existed during the universe's first moments. CERN researchers used the Large Hadron Collider to smash positively charged lead atoms together at extremely high speeds to recreate the formation of X particles. When these atoms collided, they created a burst of hot plasma, similar to the conditions found shortly after the Big Bang. Finding the X particles among this chaos was not easy. Scientists had to look through 13 billion head-on collisions between ions to identify the right ones. It was like searching for a tiny needle in a mountain of hay. For now, the Large Hadron Collider is expected to keep running until 2025. After that, it will be shut down again for another round of upgrades and improvements. CERN scientists are hopeful that before the next break, the machine might finally uncover the true nature of dark matter. Dark matter remains one of the biggest mysteries in science. It is believed to make up most of the matter in the universe and cannot be touched or measured with regular tools. However, scientists know it exists because of how it affects gravity and the movement of galaxies. Finding out what dark matter is would not only solve a great puzzle, but also help experts make better predictions about how the universe is growing and changing. That is why this search is so important, and why so many eyes remain fixed on what happens next at CERN. If this video made you think differently about our universe, hit the like button so more curious minds can find it. And if you're fascinated by mysteries like this one, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell. There's so much more to explore. Now, share your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe we've already stepped into another dimension?